And you also mentioned on stage when you had your big speech, and you were meant to for more. Also, this one little like just throw, and you just mentioned on the side is, oh yeah, I was also struggling with self doubt that was happening for you as well.
Yeah.
And what is something you mentioned already? Gratitude probably helped you with that,
Yep.
but it's quite often interesting to see. You're a big guy, and oh yeah, I feel like I don't deserve this. I'm not good enough for some reason. Um, where has that gone now? Like, where did you start out with the self doubt? When did you notice,
Yeah.
and what did you do to sort of direct yourself in a different direction?
That's good. That's good. I mean, honestly, I think that definitely goes back to childhood and never feeling like I was enough for my father, no matter what I accomplished. And I won awards, a lot of things in junior high and high school, and then in college, and then ended up with a career in sports marketing with ESPN and Fox, were big brands that are known around the world, and still didn't feel like I was enough for my dad. And so I feel like those doubts came from those early
Mm,
childhood experiences of not being enough. So if I wasn't enough for him, then I wasn't as good as I thought I might be. And so I think those are kind of deep seated. Um, and then when we kind of talked about running, what do you run away to, addictions or behaviors that you don't want to kind of feed whatever doubt you have. Cause in whether it's alcohol or drugs or whatever it is, um, when they don't reject us, nobody's ever been rejected by a bottle of whiskey. They all they do is love us. And you deal with really healthy needs of desiring to be enough in very unhealthy ways. When all of that stuff from my past came out and I started dealing with it, initially the doubt was much heavier because all of a sudden it's all out there.
mm-hmm.
And the fear of rejection or, doubts were massive. What I found is that, and I believe this for all of us, that one of the most powerful things we have in our life at any given point in our life is our story.
Mm,
And if we parts of that story that we hide, that we're ashamed of, that we don't tell, to some degree, we're hurting the world. They're missing out on something that could help them because we're all jacked up in some way, form, or fashion. We're all amazingly incredible human beings, and yet we all have stuff. None of us has it figured out. And so when I got to that point where I got it out and then started telling my story, and it's a pretty yucky, there's a lot of yuckiness to it that led to divorce and things like that, and broken relationship with my sons that have now come full circle and healed. Just personal, hurts that self shaming and self deprecating, that kind of thing. Once that stuff was out, and I realized actually my story has the power to heal. And not that it's, not that I'm special or anything, just telling it and being brave to tell a story, whatever it is. I've heard people get on stage and talk about their struggle with weight and that being a big thing. And that's a big thing with so many people. Whatever it is, we all have things that we are ashamed of or that we've hidden. Once that came out, now clearly I was nervous this week before I spoke, so it doesn't is that like poof, it's gone. Um, and you still have some insecurities, whatever age you are. But once that was out and I realized there's actually power in this and I want to influence the world, I still believe one of my, I love the fact that Julian, you have everything you need in your power and possession right now to change the world for good. No question. I don't wonder that. I don't think, oh, I mean, Julian's a pretty good guy. I mean, he's pretty talented. He's okay. I mean, he may do okay in life. No, I believe that you, through your heart, through your interviewing, the way you love so well, have the power to change the world. And I know that not just for you, but because we have a history of seeing one man, one woman step forward and change the world. I went to Montgomery, Alabama, and I'm on the streets Um, I wouldn't think this would make me emotional, but man, it hit me really hard. The guy that was showing me around said, we're on a street. And he said, on this side is where they would sell cotton and auction off cotton. And on this side is where they would auction off slaves. Tore me up because it's always been in a textbook, but it was sitting right there on a place where it happened. And then he showed us where Rosa Parks got on the bus and then refused. That took us by Martin Luther King's house that they had thrown a Molotov cocktail through the window and he was going to quit that night. And because of that event, decided to stay the course. One man, one woman, one person, one Julian, stepping out, being brave, and changing the world. And I believe that can happen. Actually, believe I can. I'm not too old for that. Maybe in little bits and pieces, we do it all along the way, but it's not over, And so I still believe that we have that, and our stories are the single most powerful tool, and the experiences we've had, right, that we tell through those stories to truly be a force in this world and change relationships, change cultures, change nations,